England may make history tonight as anticipation for the match continues, but what would it have been like to be part of history? Joining me now is producer and director Steve Minchin, who directed the World Cup in 1966. Steve, thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. It's so exciting. It's been so exciting for about a week now. What was the mood like in 1966?
Well, it was pretty much the same as it is now. I'm not sure it was as, I'm not being unkind about this, hysterical as it is currently. I think it was more muted. I mean, very serious. Everybody loved it. But that was a long, long time ago. So, yeah, but, you know, it was exactly the same as it is now, but perhaps, you know, on a slightly lower key, shall we say.
Well, our relationship with football has changed so much over the years, hasn't it?
Well, it has, yes. I mean, if we look at Wembley, now, you know, 55 years ago, it was the old Wembley, not the new one. The new one, of course, is modern, state-of-the-art, built-in studios. The old Wembley, you used to have to build scaffolding for the camera platforms. For the commentary box was all done on scaffolding. So that relationship has changed massively.
How long did you have to prepare for all of that?
Well, not really very long. I mean, because football was part of the remit for the entire year, although World Cup was obviously extra special. We were doing games and football matches on Saturdays and midweek games, and you know, the pattern to do a football match was pretty set. The commentators had to do lots of research. Incidentally, just as an aside, please give my regards to one of the best football commentators around, Martin Tyler, who works, of course, for you, but worked for ITV for many years. Sorry.
No, I will. Thank you for that. So just talking about the cameras, you had how many cameras? Because we're asking around quickly, how many cameras at a football game? They say about 44, I think, now. Drones, 44. Cameras on wires. How many did you have?
6. I kid you not. I think I managed to squeeze 7 out of the people that provided the money. I mean, like they are today, things are all budgeted. You have direct costs, which obviously includes the cost of cameras. And I would think I was allowed 6. It sounds mad, it's absolutely true. I mean, I was about to say to you, I reckon today they've got something like 20 odd cameras, but not the amount that you just said. That really has astonished me.
So were you based at Wembley when you were directing, or where were you?
No, well, we weren't, because our studios, which was the old rediffusion, and dare I say, you're probably far too young to remember rediffusion television, Thames you might, our studios were virtually next door to Wembley Stadium, so it was not a problem. You know, we did some research, commentary. Hugh Johns, the lovely commentator. Everybody thinks it was Brian Moore, but it wasn't. Brian joined us after the World Cup. He was BBC at that time. So that was that.
So match day, what did it feel like? Did you know that you were part of history? Was there a team sense within your own broadcasting team that we're all part of this too?
Well, you know, we didn't know that we were going to be part of history before the game, because quite obviously if we hadn't won, I'm not sure we would have been part of history. I don't think there would have been history, loads of weeping and wailing. But yes, I mean, the importance of the game struck home to all the broadcasters. And I mean, as it is today, BBC covered it, ITV covered it, as they're doing tonight. So it was terribly important. Yes, of course, something extra special. The World Cups don't come along that often, well, every 4 years, but certainly not in the UK. So we were terribly aware of what was going on, took it all very seriously. I mean, I had a sort of, not a problem, but it was interesting, and I've been a West Ham supporter for more years than I care to tell you. And my version is that West Ham won the World Cup for us, as you know, with Moore, Hurst and Peters. And that was a little added thing for me, that a lot of the team, English team, were West Ham players.
We've been showing the shot of Bobby Moore holding the trophy up. Let's just play it now for you. I mean, do you remember that moment?
Yes, I do. I mean, you know, covering it with lots of cameras pointing at it. I mean, it was, apart from being the television producer and the entire ITV team, you know, we were all, most of us were football nuts anyway. So it was terribly important. Lovely amalgamation of doing what you loved, i.e. doing television. And we'd suddenly, whoopee, we'd won the World Cup. So yeah, I was terribly aware of it.
It must have been so interesting to be so elated, to be such a fan, to be there in the moment, knowing what's just happened and knowing, okay, well, we've still got our job to do. Our job is not done, and we have to do it well.
Yes, I think so. I mean, emotion's going to take over with everybody. I got very emotional about the game, but then, you know, sanity must prevail. And as you say, I sat there with all those cameras, all 6 of them, you know, concentrating on what was the best shot to get, what was the best view to get, in counterpart with my BBC producer. So Alec Weeks was the BBC's producer, and he was running to the same sort of stuff that I was. So,
okay, well, you'll know very well what's happening right now. My producer is saying, you've got to go to break, Kimberly. So, Steve, thank you so much for talking to us. It's really been fascinating and enjoyable.
You're very welcome, Kimberly, and I wish our entire team and Sky News and Martin Tyler the very, very best of luck. Thanks very much for talking to me.
Thank you. Coming up on Sky News.